Town of Walpole Sewer and Water Commission here at the Delaney Treatment Plant on the September 9th, 2024. First item we have this evening, we have, before minutes, we have we have the superintendent status. I'd like to do that first, since we have it passed out in front of us.
So since the board last met, there have been no lot leaks. We have completed the water main replacement on Peach Street. The services are going to be switched over on Spring Street. Riverview Place, the water main has been replaced. What we're awaiting the chlorination and testing process before they can tie everybody over. MTUs, the older MTUs, we're still having the same issues. There's nothing that's changed in that front. We're up to 262 installs on the new system. It's continuing to run very well.
Hey, Mr. Gustafson, you need to put this
Sure.
on. Yeah,
Sure.
can we move the mics down one?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, sure.
Is that better, Patrick?
Because if I can't hear, they're not hearing you.
Right, is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, well, at home, they're not hearing you either.
Okay,
Because I'm hearing what they're hearing.
does this work?
I can
Okay.
hear you now, and they can hear you, I think.
Sure. So, I was saying that the newer meters and system continue to run very well. We're having 100% reads, nothing missed. It's functioning perfectly. As I mentioned at the last meeting, this week on Thursday, we have the Finance Committee for our capital projects at 7 p.m. And other than that, we're still performing routine tasks and maintenance.
So I have a question on the pilot program meters.
Yes.
The 262 install, are they spread out like?
Yes.
All, okay,
They're representative.
okay. And how are we selecting the new meters to be installed? Like, are the customers are reaching out, or the department is reaching out to them?
Initially, we started the program by volunteers, and many of the commissions,
Yeah.
board members are a part of that. But as the older meters are failing, we've been replacing with the new ones.
So these are the typical the replacement.
Yeah, part of that
queue.
is when we have an issue with a meter under the old system, we'll replace it with a new one.
Okay.
And so far, the problems have gone away.
Okay.
So the problems does not carry over to the new system.
Okay, so your queue of install is basically the replacement of the
Yes.
old and failing ones?
Yeah,
or-
we're not installing the old equipment.
Okay,
Scott, when will Peach Street be paved?
Peach Street, that,
The water service is complete now there.
it is. I'm not sure whether that was for the end of this week. I'd have to look at my status report from the consultant, but that's going to be soon.
Okay, well, soon, like a month or a week?
No, I think it was the end of this week. I'll have to go
Okay,
back and
so
look.
there people who use that will know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll get you a firmer date.
Okay? All right, we'll move to the minutes for August 19th. If there are any comments, any questions? I found one myself, but we'll see what it want, just go through this. On page 3, Terry, where it says, Mr. Hassenjager states he would like the following, and I give 5 points. Let's see. On number 2, where it says, we would like to know if Norwood is accepting of us paying annually $300,000 a year, period. We are not paying for financing because it says they, but it was we do not have to borrow. The reason we do not have to borrow is my proposal was to have an annual capital $30 fee paid by our ratepayers that, in our rate system, that would cover that capital payment to Norwood each year. So we are not paying for financing because we do not have to borrow. All right, I don't know if anyone has any other edits?
it says, I want to know the budget on those. Did they ever send you the budgets?
We have some in our packet.
You saw the agreements,
Yeah,
but did you see their budgets or anything?
no, not exact budgets, some dollar amounts.
Okay, because, all right, thank you.
We can talk about that in the MWRA. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll then entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I move to accept the minutes.
I second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 300. Thank you. We have a three-member commission tonight. Pradeep Mishra, who is the clerk, Patrick Fasanello, who is emeritus senior commissioner, and myself, John Hassenjager. We have, the next item are plans for review from the Walpole Planning Board and Engineering Department. The first one is
Okay.
the Jiten Hotel.
And we have plans for these, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at this.
Jiten Hotel is on Route 1. .230, 2330 Route 1. And we're looking at plans by Holmgren, Jake Holmgren.
Is there a corner of Walpole that goes through this property? See how this line, it stops here?
Mhm.
Is that a real line or just, does that cut this corner
This is Walpole.
completely? Not the
That
building,
property.
but the property.
The extreme corner,
Is there a piece of this property that's in Foxborough?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, it's unclear on the plan, you see what I'm saying? It's coming like this. Now, I know it doesn't stop here, this is not this is a boundary of the property. This is the Foxborough line. So I think it keeps going. I don't know if it goes like this, or it takes a turn, or whatever it does. But,
Well, let's just ask, why is this on the agenda?
For comments.
Okay, and so this
Planning.
this development company wants to build a hotel in Walpole, and they want comments from the Sewer and Water Commission. There's no one here to explain it. So my answer to that would be, not interested. If you would like to explain it to, I'd be happy to give you comments. You have to send your engineer and your representative in to a meeting. So, and I'm sure they probably have a meeting tomorrow night with zoning or something, but
okay,
public hearing, yeah, September 19th in the main meeting room for a special permit. Our answer should be they did not appear to show us or explain their plan or ask us about any considerations for utilities.
yeah. And Scott, see how this utility easement comes up here and terminates here? Why don't we have it also, it's just an easement, why not have the utility easement also terminate there? Not that they're gonna do anything with it now, but just in the future. I'd like to see these things because, 25 years from now, we find ourselves blocked in if we don't have easements. So, what I'm thinking is that this easement we put in, I remember we had a battle to get that.
Right,
But
where is this? I mean, I don't.
Okay, do you know where the new hotel is on Route 1, almost in Foxborough? On the right-hand side going towards Foxborough. Okay, you saw that one they built, it's just been cladded?
Yeah,
Okay, this is on the same property,
This is phase
but
two.
over here. So when you're coming down, it's over like tucked in behind here.
oh my God.
Okay, this is all parking lot. There is a utility easement that we had them put in, years ago.
No,
But-
that utility easement was to help the Funway when they had failures. That had nothing to
No,
do with
this
this
is the-
development of this site.
Now, this is across the street.
I know, but I'm telling you, I put that utility easement myself, that's on my property.
Yeah, and it doesn't now, it stops here, but it should
Yeah,
go.
but that wasn't designed for any hotel.
No, it wasn't.
No, that was for Funway.
But
They had a failure.
since they've shown us this plan, I think the easement should continue over here, especially for all utilities, but I'm thinking about storage over by the school and stuff.
Yeah, I would ask my fellow commissioner, I think our response should be, we have concerns. Plan has not been explained to us. The parties should need to come in and talk to us and answer the questions and explain what utility needs they have, what easements they need, and what they want us to do.
And I'd like to answer the question, is this entire parcel in the town of Walpole? That's my question.
I mean, I'm surprised the zoning, this is residential zoning here. I'm
Yes, it
surprised-
is, yeah.
I'm surprised that even is
Well,
in.
the zone line is here. See, it turns,
Yeah, the school's there too.
I know, yeah, you're right, it's right here. So that's why I'd like to get the sewer easement behind there. So, I'm thinking, continue the sewer easement to the end of the property.
A hotel use is not a good use next to a school. Particularly with, they putting so many migrant populations in these schools.
Well, this has 118 rooms, the existing
Yeah,
hotel.
I know.
This one here, I'm not sure how many,
It should say in the box up
someplace
there.
here. I can't find it right now.
But maybe, Terry, do you talk to anyone when they come in, or this just comes in by mail to you?
This came from the planning board.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, the same thing as mail, they just put it in your box?
They just drop it off at the window.
Yeah, so somebody, either at the planning board or you should let whoever's given us these plans, that the people should be told to come to our meeting and explain their plan. And that's why we have the system here.
Yeah.
I mean, why should we come here and try to go through, how many pages, 20 pages of plans and
Yeah,
engineering?
There is.
I mean, they need to show us where this is, what it is, why they're doing it, why they think they're allowed to do it, what kind of utilities are gonna need, you know, the whole thing. I'm really,
There was some engineering notes too. Did you see that?
That was,
that's from,
Do you want that we should have this person come before us? Huh,
Yeah.
John?
yeah,
Okay.
They'll reach out.
Let's invite them to come to the next meeting concerning the development of the second hotel on that property.
Okay, sure.
grease traps. Because they're gonna put in kitchens.
And a restaurant too.
Oh, boy.
Here, Pradeep, you want to see this?
No, I'll check later, like online. This information is quite new to me.
if they're getting,
Patrick, I think with the language, Terry, we have to say, the Stormwater Commission is very concerned that there's no effort on the parties to come to the meeting or explain any of their issues with us. And we really hope the town does not go further with them until they come and clear up, explaining to us and getting a,
and you have the issues that
Getting our
we're
opinion.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Does the current hotel gets water and sewer from the town of Walpole?
That they should come before us.
No, the phase one, there's another hotel, isn't it? On the Foxborough side.
No, there's not that, there's a strip mall on the Foxborough side. But if you look at the plan,
Okay,
it looks like a piece of the property
is in
is in Foxborough.
Okay.
That's what I'm concerned about. And if it is, then that means that we probably should talk to Foxborough about that and perhaps come to some agreement about what's going on.
that's an interesting point. I observed there was a debate about that condominium complex that came back as a 40B on Pleasant Street on the Norwood Walpole line,
And they just,
next to the cemetery, across the street from the cemetery. And the attorney for the neighbors pointed out that the corner of the property was in Norwood. He wanted the planning board or the zoning board to require him to go to Norwood and get approvals. And they pretty much said, no, that's up to Norwood.
yeah,
And Norwood didn't care. So,
all right.
anyway, okay, so we'll get rid of that one. Let's see here, what else we got? The next thing we have is number 2, which is Hilltop. GW Hilltop.
Do we have plans on GW Hilltop?
yeah.
Oh, this is the car barn. On Route 1. Okay, this Hilltop, another one of these things. This is where that cemetery was gonna be, right? So it's right across the street, and it's a car barn. Oh, here it is. Okay, where's the town line?
These people were in here, we talked to them, right?
Well,
I get confused as to, what's over here now? What is on that parcel?
I can't remember what's over there, but,
Is that
let's
dog
take a look.
grooming?
Here's, okay. What are they putting in a car barn?
It's for car storage. They're storing vehicles, expensive vehicles.
Vehicles. Are they, is this the one we talked about, chemicals?
Yeah, I think they had a comment here about anything hazardous would be in a cabinet.
What
Wait,
type
hold
of,
on a minute. Doesn't this road go into Foxborough?
no, this road does.
That's the same road, we just,
Yeah.
they show it here without this drawing on it.
Oh,
But
my-
they don't
yeah,
show
oh.
what's across the
I
street.
thought,
What's this
I
across the
thought
street
that
from
was
this,
across the
Scott?
street,
What-
sure. This is terrible.
What's directly across the street? Is that
Directly
that
across.
nursery school?
How far up the street is Foxborough?
I'm not sure how far Foxborough is.
Crazy. Okay, we have big. This is elevation. Okay, here's what their proposal is.
They've come before you before.
Huh?
They've come before you before.
I know they have, but the question, I still don't, my concern was, We know this is a water protection area. We've had the hydrology checked because of this cemetery over here. So we know that this water percolates into our aquifers, into our well system. So, what are they gonna store here? It says storage and car bays on slab. Now, if they're just cars, that's one thing, but if they're storing chemicals too, that's another thing. So we need to know what they do have a sewer. And I'll tell you another thing, Scott, that I don't see here. That's why we need them. Where they're parking the cars should have drains, and the drain should not be connected to their own septic system. It should go to the municipal sewer. And I think it does, right? I saw it here. 6-inch sewer.
My recollection that it was septic,
Where's that
but
going?
not,
Is that on site? Where's the Red Wing?
Red Wing,
Yeah,
that's on the other side of the street.
it's over here, right? Yeah, where along here is it?
Exactly where it is across the property, I don't know.
Okay, the Red Wing has storage.
Can we get GPS up on the screen for,
I can pull the map up, yes.
So it says sewer, 6-inch sewer line. Oh, it has a septic tank. Okay, this thing should, if they're gonna be draining cars with parking cars here, and they're having, you know, drains in the floor, like a lot of garages do, it shouldn't drain to their property, because this definitely is an area that can affect our wells. So, but I know there's a sewer over here someplace. They probably should connect to that. Not probably, they should connect to that.
see, the town engineer, Patrick, says all previous review items have been addressed. No sewer and water items remain. This is what the town engineer is saying.
Well,
But there's no listing, I don't think we have them all listed though, do we?
They came before the board before, and you had your chance to comment, and that's why you're saying that there's no remaining items. They were addressed.
well, he's looking at it from an engineering standpoint. We're looking at it for the safety of the town here, and especially the aquifers. And if it's engineered nicely to go into a septic system, which is going to wind up in the soil, which is gonna wind up eventually into our aquifer, that's not a good thing.
Here. They address two things. One is fire. They have the fire hydrant located and a plan with the fire department for fire suppression, blah, blah, blah. But here, Patrick, here's the aquifer permit. Here's,
Yeah, see, we have no idea what they're talking about here, okay? The floor plan is enclosed, okay, depicting location of safety cabinet for the storage of hazardous material with cut sheets. What are those? Of the flammable cabinetry and containment sump. Where does the sump drain to? It's also provided on the plan. Okay, Scott, can you find out where that is?
I believe this came up the first time they were here.
Yeah, but
I think
no, they never said anything about a sump. And I don't see where it's on the plan here. But I'll let you look at it, see if you can find out where it's gonna.
so you have that there. Does that show what's across the street? It does,
So here's the preserve up here. This is Dry Creek.
Yeah.
Hilltop Drive. Here's Allegiance Trucks across the street.
That's what I want to see.
So, you have Foxborough, Sharon will be down the right, going down north this way. Hilltop Drive, Dry Creek, go to where it's going. And the preserve up above it.
And where is this site now?
With the Dry Creek
It says
waterproofing
for
buildings.
Patrick.
I believe they're demoing the buildings.
They're demoing the Dry Creek building?
But there's
I
a
believe
cut
so,
sheet
that's the
with
property it's going on, correct?
the sum.
They just
It's a
built
new
it.
one,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
built
the
it, yeah,
private
it's just a
use.
new one.
So what the hell, where?
I think it must be the next
where
one, or
Dry
behind the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
If it's a containment, it may not have it.
it must be same address,
Containment.
but,
Containment.
you see that
Containment is
empty
designed
lot
to contain.
Then they have to pump it. What's
behind the
schedule
part,
for
no,
pumping?
this,
Drain to
They
what?
would probably have to have a spill.
2213.
I don't think
2218.
it's a containment
Oh,
because it says
it's
septic.
going this area right
Yeah,
here.
maybe
It
that,
says
but
containment
that should
sump.
be Sunset Drive.
Containment sump.
Is that Walpole Park South around it in the back?
It would be a sump to contain anything that was spilled.
Walpole Park South is more, right here, there's
What does
Woodcraft.
it say? Show me where it says containment.
This is Walpole Park South right here. This
Oh
is
my God,
the,
I'm all confused now.
Norwood's this way, Walpole Park South, Pine Street, Rojo.
Yeah, okay, no, go ahead.
Then you got the
It's
preserve.
called a containment.
Okay, that's the,
sump.
it's the preserve, it's in
Okay,
back of
Where is
that.
that on the plan? And what's the
That's
plan?
housing in back of this,
What's
that's
the
a
plan
preserve,
for
Yes, right here.
where that dot
I
is,
don't have a
okay.
plan for what that's built.
doing something to it? Okay, that's a question.
Now, this road doesn't have frontage on anything, does it? This property?
So I said yours or mine?
It has frontage on that Sunset Road Drive?
The 2216 is coming as on the main route 1. It's this one.
But there's already a building there.
No, other side of the Hilltop Drive is 2216.
So you're saying the building's being knocked down?
I am not sure on that.
I'm lost, Scott, I don't know, Is that Cook's?
No, yeah, the next
There's no
one, no,
building,
no,
there's a warehouse on that. There's a storage facility.
not the
there.
dry kit. After Hilltop Drive, the empty lot.
Where's
After,
the
yeah,
storage
that
facility?
is the 2216. Yeah,
Right there?
yeah. That is the empty lot, which is 2216 and 2218.
And what's across the street from that? There must be something across the street, I was trying to figure out. You're right, though, see, oh, there it is, there's the restaurant, the Red Wing. You said the Red Wing was
Yeah,
over there,
that's-
it's just kind of under the bushes, I guess.
Yeah, this one, this lot.
All right.
Okay. And where's the car, that structure, stop right there, don't move. That building be underneath the sign there,
Right here.
that's where the cemetery was. That storage building is built on top of that
Okay,
cemetery.
that's the storage building,
Yeah,
right?
that you were talking about right there.
Okay.
So this is upgrading, not upgrading, but this is up the street from the property you were talking about, right there. And in back of it is the preserve.
All right, so there's no, I know there's sewer to the restaurant. Why aren't they connecting this thing to the sewer?
I know the preserve is a pump station that pumps over to Pine Street.
He may need one. Yeah?
Well, in the Quickcrete, the Dry Crete would have on sewer too. This is right next door.
Dry Creek, I believe, was on septic.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, the reason we don't have questions before, we never saw these definitive plans here. And now when we see it all set up, that generates the questions we have. When they just send us, text, how do we know what's going on?
This applicant is appeared before you before.
Yeah, but do we have all this?
No, he was, what he wants to see is, show us draw some cars in there, show us where the cars and trucks are gonna be, and what you're gonna take out of them, where you're gonna put it, where you're gonna store it, how you're gonna grade it out, where it's gonna go in the ground, or where it's gonna go and be trapped, where it's gonna go from there, how is it gonna get in your septic system? I mean, those are things that's hard to, I mean, when they come in here and they're talking about this cover sheet, it doesn't really show you anything. It's, everybody's given assurances, well, they meet the zoning code, they meet the setback, they're the right zone, they're the right, yeah, but there's all the nuances of, should they be required to be on sewer or not? Is the aquifer at risk or not? They didn't answer those questions. You know, what is it sounds like, again, if you ask, you're glad you got on it. If you ask the zoning board, who enforces the aquifer protection things that are on the page that I just gave you?
Well, the building inspector.
No. I think the Board of Health does, and they don't even get involved in any of this stuff. They people go right to the zoning board. So and the zoning board doesn't think that's their responsibility. They don't care about that. We get this thing, and it looks like plain, well, why would the sewer and water be concerned? Well, because nobody else has even looked at it. That's why. That's a whole responsibility, and unfortunately, however these regulations are, we don't have the authority over them. We just have the right to give comments.
Well,
But the Board of Health, I think, enforces those regulations. And when I see these people come to the zoning board, I don't see the Board of Health,
Well,
no.
The person who should enforce anything that happens is the the town administrator. He is the executive there, that all these people work for him. And that's a good question to him. Why don't we ask that's a question, Terry, from the board to the town administrator. Who enforces, what were the words you used?
Aquifer special permit review. Aquifer special permit review.
Aquifer special permits.
Yeah. And what's that special permit say?
This only says that they should have in the name of Walpole, because it's in the boundary.
Because the storage of hazardous materials, just pump, all this stuff. To me, flammable cabinets, all that containing, safety cabinets, I think that's all hazardous materials. That's all within the Board of Health.
Well, like I
So
said,
I don't know who,
that's a good question for the town
there's a
administrator.
health agent. I don't know who she is. I remember Robin, but I don't know who's the health agent anymore.
Then we should have her come to the meetings here.
Question: the Rojo car wash, is it connected to the sewer line?
Yes.
Okay. So if these people are also storing, let's say, huge number of cars, they need to wash the cars also. And there should be some local facility within their system, and they should have a sewer connection, not going to the pit or anything.
Mary, from the presentation they put on this is not a huge car washing operation. They store high-end cars, and I think they have the facility, the capabilities to wash them, but I don't think they're in the business of washing cars.
No, which is fine, but they'll be washing, let's say, 20 car per week. That itself generates a huge hazardous materials, which should not go to the groundwater. It should go as a sewer treatment, sewer water.
Plus, if they store a car for any period of time, they may take fluids out of it, replace fluids, obviously there's something, because they're citing safety cabinets regarding hazardous materials and contaminants and this type of thing, flammable cabinet, containment sumps. So there is something they need this for.
It's a,
See, I don't think we got a description of what this really was. oh, it's just a barn, they're gonna put some cars in. I don't think was really displayed. How
Why
does
would they call it a barn if it's a garage?
Yeah, well, that's because barn is, when you say garage, all the antenna go up, because then they think of oil and grease. And when you say barn, you think of farming a cow or a chicken or something. That's why. They're playing the old chicken cow trick with us.
So the name is duplicitous too, right? So that means, we better look at this carefully. All right, they need to come in, I think.
Well, it'd be up to them. The town engineer's given them his blessing, so I don't know if they need blessing from us or from the Board of Health or not. Maybe they already worked something out with
And
somebody.
just also, you see it says here, revised August 16th. When they revise a plan, it's nice to know what the original plan looked like. And then, see, right there's, okay? See, this is a revised plan.
Yeah. That was
So-
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we want to know how was it revised? That's an important thing.
Well, oh, I see. He said, if more than household quantities, I guess the household quantity is what activates the Board of Health. If more than household quantities or hazardous materials are stored, so whatever those thresholds are, if they say those thresholds aren't gonna be met, then they don't have to get the Board of Health
Who
involved.
goes in and checks on that?
Then the following, if that would happen, then the following would assure, a floor plan like you're asking for should show providing all the areas, the safety cabinets, storage, blah, 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 all the materials, where everything is stored, a cut sheet showing flammable cabinets, sufficient size, showing the location. So he's going into those conditions only if the thresholds are being exceeded and that they're claiming they aren't gonna be exceeded. So that's,
All right.
maybe that's why he's getting away with
And
that.
to your point, who checks that?
Well, that's your point, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, again, people, you can understand why they might want to have a septic for expense purposes, but with so many sewer locations around that lot, I don't think it would be that expensive to get an easement
And you
to
know
hook up
what?
to the sewer.
If that's too expensive, then they should find another spot. But our job isn't to save them money, our job is to protect the town. So if this thing should be on sewer, it should be on sewer. And if it costs too much, then don't build this here. Something else should go there.
All right, well,
You know what I mean? They buy these properties and then they try to fit it into the,
well, we don't know. I mean, maybe the town engineer went through all this.
yeah.
I don't know. I can't, it just makes it conditional here, whether that applies or not.
Union Square.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that one. Now, Union Square.
Well, we're back to Burns Avenue again, aren't we?
Well, let's see what happened there is he came in and sat here. I thought he had an appointment last meeting. We never gave him his appointment.
This was who?
Petrosi.
I believe he
don't
left.
know. Can we see his plan, please, Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on till like 9 o'clock or something. He had an appointment at,
Oh, that's when he had to
7 o'clock.
leave. He left.
yeah.
Union Square, let's take a look at this. This is late. No, that's from Kate. Who's Kate?
The planning board secretary.
Received from Kate. 822.
All right, so the comment there is, plans from Truax Engineering were revised. Since the issue of this plan revision, DPW, Water, and Engineering have agreed to relocate a hydrant at the end of the cul-de-sac as shown on the attached sketch. Further, it has been agreed that a water gate will be relocated on the main near the existing right-of-way of Brook Lane on the town side, exact location to be worked out in the field. So that's just that's just an accommodation. These are things the town engineer asked for
Yeah.
that he agreed to do. And the town engineer is saying he accepted the revisions from Truax Engineering that showed these things, and he's telling us that the town engineer and I guess DPW are gonna go in the field and locate exactly where they want the water gate. So I don't think
Yeah.
that's not we're not revisiting this thing, it's like an FYI. They resolved those two issues.
So basically, what's the change here? The hydrant,
The hydrant,
this hydrant here,
yeah, they wanted it,
or this hydrant here?
no, up here, on the cul-de-sac.
All right, now this is a driveway here, right?
No, that's a
This
road.
is Union Street, this is a driveway. Is this is not a driveway? This is the street?
Yeah,
Oh, that's unmarked, okay.
you're coming up here.
Let's see what,
If you look at the second page, it shows you the cul-de-sac and then relocating the hydrant.
what's the name of the street here?
Here, look at this plan. The hydrant was here.
Yeah,
The DPW asked to have it over here,
okay.
maybe because of plowing or whatever.
Yeah,
They asked,
okay,
so
sure.
so that was moved. And the
That's,
gate box they wanted, they're gonna locate that. The engineers or DPW is gonna go out in the field and locate where they want it. They may want it out across this line here.
Yeah,
Because town owns that piece of property.
yeah, well, and we have a right of way into it, right?
Right, yeah. So I think that's good. I don't think we have to do anything on that. You have any comments?
No,
Okay. All right, so then,
Pradeep, what do you think of that?
no comments.
he thought it was okay.
No comment?
No comments.
So, we have 130 West Street and 25 Spring Street.
Yeah, let's see what that looks like.
They're just saying that they've revised the plans based on the comments made by the board, so warrant commissioners.
Terry, can we see the plans, please?
Is that water main going from Brook Lane into Burns? Is that loop through?
No.
No? Why not? I mean, it's a good loop right there, wouldn't it? Brook
Yeah.
Lane to Burns? What's the water main through?
Patrick brought that up, and I think they didn't want it. There's a private ownership on Brook Lane that blocks where the town owns and the applicant owns. So he was willing to do it, but I don't think the private property wanted anything brought to the street.
Nobody approached the private property owner?
They didn't?
I don't know, I mean, it was asking.
Oh, I think they did. I think that, who was it? Oh, Rick was here. I
Do
don't
you,
know.
do you want him recognized?
Oh, sure, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Craig Dalton, RTM member, precinct 5, past water member, water department employee. Just know that the past practice has been to try to loop and take the water main across it instead of having two dead ends, one coming in from Burns and the other dead end coming in from Brook Lane.
Okay. Is this is this next to, you know where they sell the big equipment?
I'll find out for you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will. I'm sorry,
Okay.
okay.
Where they sell the big equipment? You see
No.
it on West
No.
Street?
No, this is the, just after the bridge.
If you're going
Swan
under the
Pond,
bridge at the
yeah.
railroad station,
Yeah.
it used to be the IBW Hall,
Old Dry
And,
Crete,
Quick or
Dry Crete, Dry Crete
Dry Creek
building.
used to be there.
Who used to be there?
Dry Creek and the IBEW,
Oh, okay, I know where that is,
yeah,
exactly.
that corner.
Okay, and so this is a residential building. Here it is. Okay, and there's no, obviously no chemicals there.
So this is the
And-
second revision of that whole plan.
Yeah.
Earlier it was townhome, now it is condos.
This is the site. Is this gonna be fed from Spring Street, or West Street?
I believe they were coming off the
Or
west.
both? I want them, if that's true, I want them to be fed by both. For redundancy and for circulation. Okay?
Yeah, I believe that was one of the prior comments.
Huh?
That was one of the prior comments.
That was one of mine?
So on page 2 of the
Yeah.
comments, they have,
So they should bring in a water line wherever they want and bring out, connect those water lines through there. How many apartments in this thing?
95. It's a huge.
They don't tell you really. And how many buildings on this plot? I see 130 West Street. I see a 25 Spring Street. Okay. And I see a Quonset vinyl garage. So there's 3 buildings on this. Now, it says both these existing buildings, the Spring Street building and the garage, could be demolished, it says. And all right, if this is the building, all these buildings are gonna be taken out. Okay, where are the buildings that are gonna be put in? There we go. Scott, can you see where the water line comes in here?
Here. This is what? This is response to comments Sewer and Water gave.
Okay.
It's on a different page, Roger. Different page, Patrick.
Did you say how many units in this?
95.
95.
95 units.
They did come to us to explain the project.
It's right here, Patrick.
Where is it coming
Right
in? Coming in this side?
Yep, this is what's
How big is it?
6.
6 inches?
Yep.
Is there anything coming in over that side?
No.
Well, there should be, because this is a lot of units here. It's not that expensive. They're right there. There's a water line in that street. They can bring up, how far is the building's only a very short distance.
Your line's coming into the building here.
So they just got one line, then it feeds all the way through this building? No. No, they should be, they have a perfect way to get an extra water line on there for fire. If should something be blocked here, they'd have no fire protection. And if there's almost 100 units here, why not put in a connection to that street?
It is, it's tied in here. This is
Is
spring.
what?
This is spring here.
Is there a tie-in?
Sheet C8, they have
Correct.
provided a separate water connection for fire. Are you looking at C8?
C8?
Separate
Okay.
water services
Yeah.
for fire and domestic, identified off of West Street.
Oh, that's not West Street.
You know, they, all right, I'd like to see, for their benefit too.
Now, how does that work, Scott, for fire protection? Would the second connection increase the water pressure?
No,
Okay.
unless it were on a different zone, but I don't think it is on this particular, okay, but that's okay. Even if we're in a different zone, that would be fine, because you still have redundancy.
Right. But the suppression system, who does that calculation?
It's
The
not.
fire department, yeah.
Well, articulate your recommendation or your question.
Yeah, well, we'd like to see water connections from both streets into the property. And ideally, connected so that the water would flow through and give us a grid pattern there. And this would provide them with redundancy, it would provide them with another source of water for any fires that might happen there, or any other emergencies that are involved in water.
Okay, Pradeep, all set?
All set, yes. Thank you.
This is a containment, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, Scott.
All right, we have, next agenda item is Jarvis Farm application for wedding.
I have concern about it. Jarvis Farm, as far as my understanding is for passive recreation. And this particular application is looking for keg truck, food truck, restroom and etc., which basically can impact the water in that area. Um, this is just inquiry. I don't think they are looking for actual permit. But I'll be opposed to giving a permit for the wedding function where they need to have put the food trucks and all other the needs what they ask for.
Okay,
Especially though there will be more than 50 vehicles, and that itself will create a burden on the particular area.
this isn't the same, Terry, application from the last meeting. This is a new one.
Yeah, I think I left mine at home when I read it.
Says, looking into the possibility of using Jarvis Farm as a wedding venue.
Yeah.
The family, part of the family and grandmother, sister lives across the street of Jarvis Farm. Not sure of the logistics, if any part of the farm is a working condition. They would need restrooms, working condition, electricity. Their thought is to have food trucks, a bar truck, keg truck, and a band. Other than that, some low-key tents and tables. They don't mind having to put in any time to prepare the venue and clean up afterwards. So that's the request. Now, I guess somebody asked, I think it was the secretary in the selectman's office, asked something about, is alcohol allowed at Jarvis Farm? I never heard that question, so I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I'm interested in how many vehicles they want to park there.
It's in the permit they're asking for 50 vehicles.
There's 150 people, they're probably looking at more than 50 cars anyway. And we don't have a parking lot.
Any comments, Scott?
No, it's up to the board. They're just seeing if you'd even entertain the idea. They're not actually applying right now. They're saying if we went forward and applied, would this be something that would fly with the board?
Personally, I think it's a little bit of a reach. It's kind of beyond the pale in terms of what was defined as the passive uses of Jarvis Farm. I don't mind the wedding, that type of thing, but I think Pradeep brings up the food trucks, the bar truck, some of these other things seem to be,
Restrooms and all, they're looking for restrooms also, which is, we can't provide. Even for future use, we can't provide restroom, just to be,
There's restrooms on the site.
yeah, but I think we are, that's for like camping and all, isn't it? Like, there'll be hardly, people camp there. It's not for wedding kind of function where people get drunk and use the restroom. But anyway, the idea of using it for a wedding, let's say 10 weddings in a year, it does not suits well for that area. It should be passive recreation. And they have asked more than that. They have asked for, electricity and, cabins and everything. I don't think town can provide that service. If you look at the whole application, they have asked, other than that, they asked for more than a well-planned wedding site also. So,
yeah, I think,
Excuse me, I'd like to speak up about this. I'm sorry, Craig Dalton again, 477 Summer Street, I'm precinct 5 member. I mean, a wedding, yes, somebody's special day. I mean, you have baseball that goes there, and we'll have well over 100 cars all day long there. I mean, it's either
You
The
allow them or
town-
don't?
the-
How did
The Board of Water and Sewer does not allow baseball games there.
There's baseball that goes on there. There's been the recreation that's been going on.
Yeah, so those recreation is up to the recreation department to identify. We have discussed that,
When
we have
Little League
discussed that
When Little
before.
League baseball goes, there are all kinds of cars that are parked there.
Yeah, we have raised that issue that the car should not be parked there. So you are coming with another agenda, but the agenda here is about the use of that particular field for wedding. And we don't think it was meant for big parties and.
But you're offering this place.
For what?
You're offering this.
For,
You have a permit to offer this facility.
yeah, but.
It's a town, it's a Water and Sewer Commission permit, is it not? So you're offering it to the people.
Okay,
Just saying,
Mr.
just wanted to say that. I mean,
Oh.
you've allowed it to other things. I think somebody's special day, I think is some, should be, I mean, a food truck is just an extra car. That's the way I look at it. I'm sorry, I just showed up because you guys are better than Pat and Vanner, so
We've been what?
you're better than Pat and Vanner.
Oh, no, we appreciate your input, Mr. Dalton. I think maybe what you're not aware of, we, over the last 6 or 7 months, we had extensive discussion about this because according to environmental scientists, if we want to have functions there, it's going to cost several $1 million. We're going to have to build an environmentally sound parking lot with special receptacles because it's in the aquifer. It's very expensive to construct. And further, we found that there could be a potential of a well opportunity there. So the question really is, it's been used as passive recreation to support the Walpole Recreation Department, not to provide a venue to the public.
You have a permit.
We permit our internal people to judiciously use recreation passively as they choose.
Internal
We're not in the
people?
market. We're not advertising this. We don't promote it.
It's out there for the public, well, for the town of Walpole.
No, it's a water sewer department.
Is there not a permit for the leasing of this? It's just like Adams Farm.
For the use of the recreation department
recreation
for certain selective passive recreation.
My past understanding was that there was a permit. Wasn't there something a permit that costs money to rent this place?
For
No.
passive recreation,
That's the problem.
yeah.
People, this event here is a $5,000 event. These people have had several parties up there before, the Jarvises, whatever. This is not what this is for. We gave them special respect because of who they were. One lady has lived there near the neighborhood. But this is not set up for alcohol, for parties with bands and food trucks and that type of thing. And again, we are told, we're protecting the aquifer. We're told, if we go that direction, we're gonna have to charge, and these people aren't gonna wanna come here, because if we
That's
charge the
what's
actual
going on.
cost, they don't wanna pay, they're looking for a freebie. Understandably, certain things have happened, people have gone up there and had picnics and whatever, but this is not the main concern anymore. The concern is, if we're not gonna upgrade that and spend a couple $1 million to do all that work, then it's gonna be restricted as to what passive recreations really are usable there. And we're getting rid of buildings that are there that are no longer sustainable, they're no longer safe, there's a safety hazard. So it's really being scaled down, and it's being thought about more as a future resource for the town and the sewer and water department than it is as a public venue. There's plenty of places to have a wedding on Route 1.
Is the place available to the public for something like this?
No, you're missing the point. It's available through the Recreation Department for selected uses of the Walpole Recreation Department.
There is no permit for this facility. I always
No,
thought there
you're
was a
saying,
permit,
that
just like Adams Farm.
you're making all these statements which are incorrect. I'm sorry.
But there is no permit. Then why do
You're making an
people?
interpretation. What permit?
Okay, can I ask the superintendent through you? Is there
The
a permit?
the permit says, the first line of the permit says, Jarvis Farm is sensitive area of town of Walpole's drinking water wells, and any group party interested in using the property must obtain approval by the Water, Sewer and Water Commission, and that's what we are doing it. It's a sensitive area of town of Walpole for drinking water wells,
and we are looking into this case, and case by case, we decide whether that should be allowed or not.
Okay, so you're allowing for some certain people, but you're not allowing certain people?
The
Yes.
town, recreation department is.
Yeah.
No, you've said it yourselves, whether you're determining whether or not
Not
it's gonna
us,
happen.
the permit says it's a
The
sensitive area.
applications come from the recreation department.
Yeah.
Okay, I always thought it was something that was through the water department, through the water and sewer. And it was to
Recreation
offer up the
department.
facility, just like Adams Farm, whether, there was specific things, whether to have a detail officer, if there was alcohol to be served. There was a whole process. My past understanding was,
Yeah,
Have you had alcohol parties at Adams Farm?
I have not, sir.
No.
No, I have not, but I
don't
heard it
think
was
so.
offered.
To
I don't
answer your
think so.
question, the application goes to the recreation department. The recreation department forwards it to me, and I forward it to the commission.
Okay, is there any provisions about having alcohol or any of that stuff on the permit?
As far as I'm aware, this is the first time that's even come up.
Is there
Everything
something
is a
on the
case-
permit about alcohol?
That comes before the select board, as far as alcohol on town property,
Is there anything on the permit?
not that I'm aware about alcohol.
Okay, that's all I want to know. I just want to know if it was on the permit.
But if they're gonna have alcohol, it's go before the select board.
Okay.
So there's 3 levels, Mr. Dalton, of filtering. There's the recreation director, there's the superintendent of sewer and water, and then there's the commissioners themselves. So it has to go through 3 levels of screening. And again, the concern is about not being a public venue for entertainment. The concern is it's a resource for the town, and selective areas where we can and the recreation feels comfortable, we can allow some uses that are passive recreation.
The word selective bothers me.
What?
The word selective bothers me. It's offered, there's a permitting process. It's somebody's special day, other than a couple hundred kids running around with all their mothers' BMWs and Volvos sitting around. I just kind of figured that, if you were to interrupt somebody's special day, I just kind of figured maybe it was something to step in.
the town has multiple other options for those special day. They can conduct.
Oh, I understand that. Oh, I understand. Everybody has special, as options. Everybody
town-
has
town-
options. I'm
the
just saying,
town
I'm just
also, yes.
wondering, I just thought the options here were a lot wider, and I just thought you were kind of like
It's
being
not
very
wider.
selective on
it's-
other people's options.
It's not wider. The water ratepayers are paying $350,000 per year for that land to be
Protected.
saved, protected for
Have a
the
lock in
water
gate.
uses. Yes,
Should have a lock in the gate, nobody ever go in.
yes, that's fine. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Then
so-
then what should happen then? I'm just saying, if it's been loud, and if it's somebody's special day, I just kind of figured.
It's not that we allowed
Just
any
defending
other.
that person's special day,
Yeah.
that's all.
And this application is anyone, it's a non-resident application, so,
And there's no advertising
yeah,
of this.
there's no
We're
Oh,
not-
advertising.
I know
in
it
the-
wasn't
we're not in the
advertised, but
market.
it was just out there, just like Adams Farm. Adams Farm doesn't advertise also, does it? I mean, it's the same operation.
How many
What I was
weddings have
understanding, I was
happened,
understanding.
can you tell me how many weddings have happened in Adams Farm in last 1 year?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't have the statistics, I don't know. I just know what's offered
Yeah,
to the
so
town, what they offer.
are you representing
And that
this
way, at one
party?
point
No,
in
no.
time, wasn't offering.
Are you representing this particular party?
No, I'm not. I'm just
Okay,
saying,
then I think
saying.
we should stop the conversation.
Very good, okay, I just wanted to understand that person's
There's
special
no
day,
wedding,
that's all.
no weddings that we
Just to
know
make
of.
sure that everybody was on even Steven here, that it wasn't, that the selections were even, that's all. That's all I wanted to do. Thank you.
Okay.
You can in fact rent Jarvis Farm fields. The recreation department has a whole thing on their website about it.
So it's advertised?
Yes.
Okay. As far as I know, we've never paid for any advertising or authorized any. The rec department can promote, I guess, if they want, within Walpole. And Scott will screen them, and so will we. We have, Bill Abbott isn't here, but we have his proposal. You want to wait for Bill to come back to present that, or you want to try to interpret that yourselves? I think we should wait for Bill. I assume he's
Yeah,
going
I
to be
think
back
so.
at the next
Yeah,
meeting,
I'd like to see him.
because it's one way to do it, for sure. Go ahead.
I'd like to know on tier 1, what percentage of our revenue?
So you're gonna discuss it anyway.
No.
No, let's not discuss it.
This is a question I have for,
Well, he's not here to answer
I
it.
know, but this, he's probably watching on. What I'd like to know, and people would like to know this too, you know, we have 4 tiers. On tier 1, what percentage of our revenue comes from tier 1? That's important. And going on, percentage of income from tier 2 and 3 and 4. That's all. That's, I'm not.
All right, we'll get you that for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have this, but it doesn't really give me the tiers.
Okay. Now we have water pumped report. Any comments about that?
It looks normal
The capital
from,
budget?
from, no, the
Not
water
yet.
pump.
Okay,
77.
this is where we need a summary on the capital budget.
Okay, I'll do that next time. Go ahead, Pradeep usually does it.
No, I think it looks okay to me.
Yeah.
That's a comment to us.
Okay,
77.
thank you. Capital budget, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We have, we've had time now to look at these two, for the water and the sewer. I'm trying to find my copies here. Oh, you're there. Scott, do you, why don't we look at the water first?
I have a question. So the water budget, before we go there, the retained earning, how much is the water retained earning?
And earnings right now,
See, that information was never given to us.
yeah, I have it.
Yeah, so that's, before we jump into the spending, we should
So-
know the,
Water retained earnings are at 3.879.
which
Yeah,
page
so-
you are reading?
I'm not on a page on the budget, on the capital budget. That's not on the capital budget right now.
So that's as of what, June? What date?
Yeah, that's current, July.
July 1st? July 31st?
And sewer is at 2.38.
And that's the number we should be knowing before, we discuss budget. Especially after the rate hearing and all, the first number which we want to know is when this was certified and what date it was certified. I think this should be practice for them to come openly and talk about it. Why water retained earning is so much higher than projected numbers.
Okay. Well, it's better to be a high number than a low one, right?
Which is fine, I'm totally fine, but there's always a tussle during the rate hearing and when we come to this month, it's always like $3-4 million extra to spend.
Okay. As far as the items themselves,
Well, yeah, can I ask just one thing here? We're talking about connecting to the MWRA. How does that fit into the budget?
that would actually fit into next year's budget.
Okay, in year 2, I still don't see it. Okay,
We have funds that have been allocated to do the responsibilities for investigation
so it's not on,
and
it's
the
not on
funding
this?
of Weston and Sampson
Yeah.
to do that phase of it. So
And-
until that's complete, we don't need to be going and we don't know, there's many moving parts. We have PFAS funds that could be coming in as soon as when?
Yeah, but we'll be using
In
PFAS.
'26, in
Something
'25?
in that timeframe.
Yeah, we'll be using those funds for the EJD.
Well, we'll see what, I mean, it could be all, it can be all related, because one's maybe an offset of the
Well-
other.
Oh, and Scott, what does TTHM mean?
Total trihalomethane, the disinfection byproducts.
And HEW,
Harold E. Willis Water Treatment.
what?
Harold E. Willis Water Treatment Plant.
Okay, so that's the acronym for that. And these are trihallomethanes.
At the Willis Treatment Plant, yes.
Yeah, let's spell that out from now on if we can, just so anybody looking at this knows what the acronyms are.
So that's, how come, why are we redesigning that for the trihallomethanes?
It's not a redesign, it's an initial design.
Well, don't we
Because-
don't we do it now?
No, we form them.
Well, I thought we did a final chlorination, so we
No.
limit the trihallomethanes.
What happens is when you disinfect and you have basically organics in the water, you can combine and form disinfection byproducts, which are carcinogens.
Trihalomethane, yeah.
Correct.
That's why I thought we went to a final injection of chlorine.
No,
Well,
what's happening is
why haven't we?
chlorine actually forms the trihalomethanes. What this proposes to do is use ultraviolet light as a
Okay,
treatment
this
system.
is, that's a whole different story.
Right.
So this is converting our injections, basically, of chlorine to the ultraviolet light,
You're changing the process so that you form less byproducts.
which is a good thing. I've been advocating that for 10 years. All right, that's great.
Okay, thank you. So, the one question, we have the main replacement program, which is $2 million a year, and you have $2,450,000 this year. Why is there another $450,000 in there?
It depends on how far you're going, how many feet. So what we're looking at now, are you asking where the water mains are being
No.
placed, or?
We're not gonna do the whole system, are we? We're only gonna
No.
we're doing a finite amount. We usually use a budget amount. How much can we do for $2 million each year? And that's what we do.
Yeah, so what
So
this
I'm
will
just
get
asking,
you,
so don't give me the cute answer, how many feet. There's a reason you're doing 450 more.
what this will get you is, I think, 0.7%. Ideally, you do 2% a year, and every 50 years, you'd have that entire system replaced.
Yeah,
But fiscally, that's not possible. This is as close as we can get.
so how many feet are you doing, 6,000?
Yeah, it's gonna be Pine Street, not Pine Street, it's gonna be South Street from Pine going north to Washington Street, and also Diamond Street, and then,
Diamond Street.
yeah.
Okay. All right, that's my question. So, yeah, I think this looks, the lagoon is a little high, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. I was trying to get Mattson to tell me why that got higher than we thought.
So,
Is that mine or yours?
Better about be mine.
so right now, the lagoons that are there are earthen.
Yeah,
They're basically a hole in the ground, and they're just above the water table. But this here, the reason it was changed was to go with a concrete structure.
right, okay.
It's a little
Smart.
more expensive, but it's better containment and better material handling.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that, like in Bird Park, the duck pond has a cement bottom. So they go and clean it like a lagoon, they go clean it out, they can stop the water and go in and, take a machine and just go in there and scrape it right out, it's clean as a whistle. Works, so it's well worth it
Right.
to do that. Okay, any more questions, or?
Nope.
Okay, we're good on that?
No, I do have one kind of a dumb question, but, it says here, when you go, it says heavy equipment replacement. Now, for years, they said we need to get a bigger dump truck. Does this address that?
That's not in this year, that's next year.
I know this, I know that, but ultimately, are we going to get a large dump truck?
I know this has been discussed over the many years.
For 20 years.
Yeah, I don't see it happening this round, but someday in the future, maybe.
Because the workers think that'd be a great idea, they wouldn't have to make all these loads back and forth.
The only concern of that is, and you've heard the arguments over the years too, is maneuverability, getting on certain streets, you know, limited use.
Yeah. But it could be good for a snowplow, for very heavy duty.
So Scott got back to me today about the parade of sewer and water vehicles we have 13,
13, yes.
and that includes one dump truck?
Yes,
Okay, so,
Are they gonna parade in the 300th anniversary?
if they're still running.
okay.
You gonna take a vote on that, John?
Well, we-
Yeah, let's take a vote on the water capital budget. All in favor? Aye?
It's a no.
No?
Abstain.
Okay, that's a no. Now, there's a capital budget committee meeting,
What was the vote, excuse me?
vote to approve the water capital budget.
What was the vote?
111.
We will go
I
back.
abstain.
There's a capital budget meeting, 12th?
Mhm.
That's,
Thursday.
yeah, Thursday.
And the reason
So
I,
you have a no vote?
Yes.
Do you need anything we can do to answer your question, or just?
We need the actual certified number, water's retained earning.
Certified number.
Which date?
That is the certified number I gave you.
Which date?
The date, I don't have the exact date, but that's the certified retained earnings. The two numbers I gave you for water and sewer.
But which date? Like, is it 1st August? Was it certified, or July 1st? Which date was it certified?
I don't have the exact date.
Yeah. So just give us. I think we have time to approve it, isn't it?
Well, finance committee is Thursday, so it's in a couple days.
Yeah. So my only concern is the retained earning, which was too high. Like, it was not given to us in a proper way. So that's the reason I said no. Are you guys comfortable with that number?
Well,
So if I can get you that number, you'd be entertaining actually approving that.
would you make a conditional approval is subject to, before Thursday, you get the certification numbers that you're looking for?
That's correct. Yeah.
Right.
Which date it was certified and how much is the correct number?
We'll give you the exact date.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so that's
the reason,
201.
hey, the reason I abstained is because there's only 3 of us.
Yeah,
And I know Abbott would be very interested in this, and Mr. Fisher also. So, this will come back
very interested in what?
in this,
In the
the whole
budget?
budget. Right, and, I think I'd like to see all of us go through this thing, because we each have areas of expertise that, can be used analyzing this budget.
I think,
That's why I abstained.
yeah, I think we can have a meeting of the minds with the department. I don't know if it's that our people are slow in getting the budget to Jim Johnson, so it always comes in August when everybody's on vacation. It came here the last meeting and we had so many things, we didn't have time to get to it.
Well, just looking at this,
No, but let me finish. So if they could set that up earlier, so we have it in June or July, whenever that certification date is, we'd have, 60 days or so to get any things worked out that any commissioners want as far as more detailed
I believe
information.
it was at the very end of June, the last few days of June. of July.
That's when you
I'll- I'll
certify?
get- I'll get you the exact date, but that's,
Yeah. That will be great. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
okay, the reason, like, for instance, I know a little bit about the ultraviolet, way of dealing with some of the problems that we have with drinking water. And it says the study is gonna cost $650,000. That's just a study. Now, I don't know what they're gonna study, because we know what the problem is and we know why we wanna fix it. But then the next year, it comes out to
These
$3,750,000,
are the numbers off. the state website.
which is a lot of money. The whole
Can you just?
plant only cost us, what, 11 million?
which numbers you looking at, Pat?
So I think I'd like to see all those figures.
Okay, I see
on
now.
that. Am I missing something here, folks? What are you talking about?
Well,
Okay, that's why I think we need to look
Point
at
to
this.
the, what figure you're talking about here, this 3.7?
Yeah,
Okay.
and,
Scott
gotta-
should answer these things.
but you gotta answer, you gotta put this on the.
No, I know.
Table to me.
And I wish Mattson was here, but Scott, isn't it true, these figures are dependent on getting funds from the federal government?
No,
They're not?
no.
That's a wicked amount of money.
Well, I've been told all along, we're gonna get 4 to 5 million.
Well, we're using some of that to
No,
put the
well,
redundant line in.
You're not, no, well,
There's no money from the federal government.
Even for PFAS?
there's mitigation money, well, that's what Rick Mattson says. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know who's, the money came from companies that
It's
the
through
government
lit-
collected.
it's through litigation.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, we're just parsing words here.
So there is.
So why would you have this in the budget then if we don't have a source for the money?
So when you ask for the 3,750,000,
Yeah.
that's under trihalomethanes, it has nothing to do with PFAS. PFAS is something totally different.
No, I'm not
PFAS is
talking
here.
about PFAS.
I know, but you gave the number for trihalomethanes, and he's asking.
Yeah,
So-
trihalomethanes,
PFAS
but I
litigation.
didn't talk about PFAS, which I see here. And, that's possible that we could get some money for that, okay?
So the source of the funding for those is not in stone. It's not happening this year.
What, no, I didn't say it was happening. This, you look at, that's the capital budget, that's for 25 capital budget.
Right.
But I'm just telling Pat, there's, obviously we gotta find sources for these funds.
Yeah. But the PFAS is atrociously high. But again, we may be able to get some help on that. But on the ultraviolet, that just seems rather, and that's like $3 million almost. And
It's
like I
over.
say, the plant only costs 11 million. I mean, what are they gonna do, rip out stuff and we're still gonna do filtering? I mean, this is
They're
only
not, it'll be an
touching-
additional,
This is only doing,
it'll be an additional structure outside the existing plant,
you have to build another structure?
yes.
Has this been done in another town around here?
It's been done, I don't know what the closest town would be, but it's a proven technology.
Well, so what are the other towns doing if they're not doing this?
What other towns are doing for trihalomethanes, that's
Yeah.
case by case, I can't answer.
Oh, Boston does it. And MWRA does it, up in, where it is, Wakefield, I think. They use it. At my next meeting, I'll ask them about this.
There were several alternatives that were investigated by the consultant, and the UV was the best option, both in cost, effectiveness, and also operational costs. Every
And
year, the
safety.
recurring costs.
Now, the consultant was Weston and Sampson?
No, it's aquagenics.
Okay, again, we have to look into that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's 351 cities and towns. They're not all belong in there, so a lot of them are doing something. They all have the same issues we do. So it's not like we're the only person in the woods here doing some kind of special project. And I'm
Well, we-
surprised if no one else you know is using UV, maybe that's an outlier type of system, I don't know.
A decade ago, I inquired about this,
Yeah, I know.
and it went nowhere. I'm just a commissioner. But the thing is, this is, you know, the trihalomethanes are cancer causing. You know, we really don't want those in our water. And even though it's gonna cost some bucks, I think the people would want us to give them water that is as pure as we can get it.
Yeah,
The
only
ironic-
problem- the-
The ironic thing is that this UV system was found to be 1,000% effective on eliminating COVID,
Yeah.
but it was deemed too cheap. They wouldn't put it, they could put the UV screen, so you walk through a door, you walk through it and you're done. At schools everywhere. And they said it was too cheap. You had to have an expensive solution. You couldn't have the UV. So I'm shocked this is so expensive.
It's not the most expensive option.
What's
Of all the
another
options.
option, Scott?
Activated carbon, GAC,
We have that.
it's expensive.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
more
okay.
expensive.
All right, but you know, if you're gonna take the activated carbon out,
And we don't have activated carbon right now, we used to.
you what?
We used to have activated carbon, we
Okay.
don't have it now, we just have it across the street.
Okay, so what are you using now?
Aeration. For this plant, the activated carbon was to remove the
We're using
TCE.
aeration to get rid of the,
The activated carbon we had in the past was to remove the TCE contamination from Washington 6 across the street
yeah,
at the GAC building.
yeah.
When this plant was constructed, we went to aeration towers, which TCE is a volatile that drives it off. So we don't use GAC anymore.
Okay, and what are you gonna do with those tanks?
They're gone.
They're gone?
They were removed
And-
25 years ago.
So why are you building a new building when we have space now?
You're mixing apples and oranges because
Okay.
we're in
Buildings are
different
buildings.
plants. Yes, but the initial discussion started off at the Willis plant with ultraviolet treatment for trihalomethanes. Now, if you move down here, we're talking about PFAS.
No, I'm talking about trihalomethanes here also. So
So
you're talking
does-
about PFAS.
So the
I'm
PFAS,
saying that we shouldn't have half the town, you know, having water that has no trihalomethanes, and the
We
other
don't-
half of
Yeah,
the town
this
having
is
it.
huge.
There's
That
two
doesn't
different-
make any
Even for
sense.
design.
it makes
it's
sense in the sense that the water has two different characteristics depending on what part of town you're in. If you go to North Walpole, we have an issue with trihalomethanes that would keep creeping up to the 80 parts per billion running average. Down here, we do not. So different problems in different
How
parts
are
of town.
you, if the trihalomethanes are creeping up in North Walpole, how do you address that now?
Right now, there's treatment techniques you can change, operation.
Are you
To try to
injecting
keep
more
going.
chlorine?
No, that would be worse.
Okay.
The more, if you add more chlorine, you form trihalomethanes very quickly.
Are you doing final?
We only,
Treatment?
we chlorinate once at the end of the clear well. We don't do pre-chlorination.
Anyway, you really need to keep us informed about what's going on, because,
We have in the past, when the trihalomethanes have crept up to the 80 parts, we have brought this before the board before.
yeah.
And it's a seasonal thing. So this is in anticipation of a problem that's gonna get worse down the line, and we're not waiting till the problem is on our doorstep.
We have to deliver water that is the best we can possibly deliver.
That's what we're doing.
And obviously, we need to spend the money. And that's a good thing that it's in here. But this budget is only for the Willis treatment plant?
No,
It's for both plants, is that correct?
correct, for design.
Yeah, the
Design for both
What about
plants.
the construction?
Construction is next year
Next
for
year.
trihalomethanes.
3.7.
Is it for,
Trihalomethanes, next year construction.
is it for both?
No, construction only of trihalomethanes. PFAS is not till year 3.
No,
Well, guess what? Why don't, you have a consultant for this. Can you bring the consultant in
yeah.
to the next meeting? So they can
Sounds
explain it
good.
to us?
So,
That's-
my
that's good.
question is.
And wait, hold
yeah.
on. Steve, will you make sure that Pradeep gets the hard copy of what,
Yes, I
He
will.
asked
He
for-
can, he can email also, that will be fine.
okay?
Emails, that's
He
fine,
wants
yeah.
a hard copy, right? He
Yeah.
wants this for his records, so,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I had question on this one, like, why are we splitting in two different design, like PFAS and HEW design, like, why they're almost 1.4, 1.5 million, isn't it?
You're talking about design for this year?
Yeah,
They're both in there. The first one is trihalometane design for the Willis plant at $650,000. And then this plant, Delaney, for PFAS for $850,000.
they're two different companies we are going to
No,
have?
it's one company doing the design. We'll do the design, but it's two different treatment techniques. They're
Which
not
is
the
fine,
same
which
thing.
is fine, but if one company is doing it, doesn't the design cost should be less?
It depends on the complexity.
Well, if he gets
Okay.
them in here next meeting, we can ask them.
Okay. And the second question is, the total construction cost, 3.75 million, is it estimated or you have some reference number from other towns?
3.75 million is the current estimate based on current situation.
From where you got this number, like from the
From
other
the
town?
consultant,
From the consultant?
Aquagenics.
Okay. And the same with, where's the PFAS? So that's 4.5 in the third year, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. So overall, we are looking for 1.5 million for design, 3.7 million for trimethylene, and PFAS 4.5, isn't it? Almost $10 million in next 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have sewer capital budget, which is relatively mundane. Gattawadi Sewer Station rehabilitation, $420,000. We have a F-150, I assume that's a Ford 4x4, $65,000. We have a replacement, I believe it's for F-250 4x4. It says 2002, but that must mean a new vehicle for $85,000. And we have a Ford F-250 utility truck for $85,000, for a grand total capital budget of $655,000. Any comments? Okay,
Just, I think we had asked this question before about all these trucks being only used for sewer department, and why it is not split between water and sewer.
They are under the sewer budget, but they do have multiple use. One of them is for the septic facility operator,
Okay,
and that's his job, all the sewer stations, the septic facility. Task is also covered by the water technicians, weekends, on call, whatever it happens to be. So
Okay.
they are dual use,
okay.
but they will be
All the 3 vehicles are for water and sewer?
water and sewer, yes.
Okay,
the other thing, Pradeep, is the good thing, I guess, with the 250s, if I'm not mistaken, you have the ability with utility bed to use the truck all seasons and make other uses of it. So, which I guess the 150 isn't strong enough, or doesn't have the structural in the bed to
It can be used, but
use,
it's not a good,
insert.
it's not as good a work platform as a utility body. Which is one of the things that's gonna address with the septic facility operator's truck, which does the sewer stations as well, is to be able to have the equipment and tools on the truck that he needs to make repairs and maintenance.
Okay,
one more question. Are we expecting more vehicles next year to be replaced?
More vehicles?
Yeah, so last year some vehicles came, and this year also these 3 vehicles are coming for the replacement. Are something more in the queue to be replaced? Like,
That would be heavier equipment. It would not be these type of vehicles,
okay,
so no.
okay,
unlike other departments, these aren't lease vehicles, these are purchases.
Right.
So for the truck life cycle is what, 6 years? How many years?
Well, more than that. This one here is 2002.
I know.
So they last as long as we can make them, as long as we can maintain them and keep them running.
Is there any kind of mileage parameter, or just,
It really depends on the use. Some will be run harder than others, have more use, and some will be lighter, so there's not gonna be correlation there. They could be used for plowing with a plow on it, which is gonna do a lot more work.
I think it's a good thing, because you're doing the maintenance here, so we can
Right.
extend the useful life of it, get more value out of the.
Right.
Okay, anything else? I'll move to approve the sewer capital budget. Anybody second?
I second that.
Second? Moved and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Staying.
Okay, 201. Thank you. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see. Where's my agenda? What do we get? Let me see.
MWRA water connection.
Okay, yeah, the MWRA water connection, that's the next thing. Oh my goodness, Patrick. Any comments about this whole thing? Jim Johnson, give us a little summary. I guess I can, He says, "The commission told me that you do not want to pay more than $300,000 per year for up to 25 years to Norwood for the connection." He has asked Norwood, and they're checking with their engineers, their consultants. The commission, he's trying to get something below 25 years. And then with the Wheeling, they're looking for 20%. And that we asked for other towns, what they were doing. So he's not sure. I guess Sharon isn't taking much water because that's an emergency connection, so 20% to them is not really reflective of a usage relationship with the town of Zaki, actually taking MGD of $1 million. And then he goes into the pump station. So the wheeling charges, most of our other questions were answered in the affirmatively, that we are not going to be required, if we get into an agreement, the assessment is based on actual usage, and from an MWRA and Town of Norwood and MIPA perspective, we're not forced to take all the water, we only take what we want to take, or need to take, put it that way. So there's not a volume minimum requirement. Also, Weston and Sampson said they did investigation, up to 10% and even some cases 20% wheeling fee, they think is within a parameter, but not higher than 20%.
So I have just one comment. When there's no, let's say, pre-construction cost paid to the other town, the wheeling fees of 20% makes sense because the particular town has to improve the infrastructure. Here we are promising two things. One is $300,000 per year to the town of Norwood and wheeling fees of 20%. So combination of both is expensive. If it was just wheeling fees of 20%, then yes, it makes sense. If it was just $300K per year to town of Norwood to upgrade their infrastructure to supply water, it's a fixed wheeling cost in that scenario.
Right.
So I think we are talking two different things, and we should be negotiating one of them, not both of them. Or if you're trying to do both, then it should be much lower number than just one silo of wheeling fees. Both are wheeling fees from my point of view.
It's an emergency connection between between Norwood and Sharon, really the same as our connection from Norwood to Walpole, given that when I read this contract, it sounds like the town of Sharon is connecting to the town of Norwood, not to the MWRA as such, but to the town of Norwood for emergency water use. Am I correct in that? Is that
Yeah.
what you read? Okay. So MWRA didn't have anything to do with this particular agreement. It's just.
No, other than they had to
They had to allow-
acquiesce to Norwood to be able to take emergency additional volume to pass through to Sharon and under special circumstances.
Okay, Norwood had to increase their amount of water?
They didn't have a limit on it.
They didn't have a limit? Okay, so it's basically Norwood selling their water to Sharon? Right?
Well, okay,
It's not water coming from the MWRA traveling through Norwood and coming to Walpole.
no,
There's a difference in that whole thing. So, if that is a difference, why are we talking about Sharon? It's not the same.
We had asked-
Patrick, we're getting examples from other towns, and that wasn't the best
But that's
example.
not the
That wasn't the,
example
let
we
me,
want.
let me give you another example. This is Bedford,
Yeah,
and Lexington.
yes.
Now Bedford, I would like to buy water from Lexington, they're very reasonable. Bedford, in this agreement, they can take up to 3.3 MGD, which is 3 times what we've asked for. And Lexington is charging them $42,000 a year instead of $300,000 a year. And instead of a wheeling charge of 20%, Lexington's charging them 1%. So that's a wonderful deal that Bedford has. Absolutely wonderful. And isn't the town of Lexington nice to be taking care of their neighbors in such a fashion?
So this is, you're saying the Lexington contract here
Yeah,
is a wheeling contract. They've taken the one.
no, it's both. It's
both.
part, in other words, this part is for the infrastructure for the other community. They may have to adjust some of their lines, or they're gonna have, because of more utilization, they're gonna replace lines faster. They may have to do certain things on their end that are capital expenditures. So they figure they're justified, not just wear and tear of the water going through their pipes, but some of their capital expenses should be pushed off onto agreement.
And they have 4 connection points.
So, they've chosen, to 42,000 a year plus 1%, that's one. Now, there's another one here, Burlington, with the town of Lexington, and this is very recent. 1 million gallons per day to 1.5 million gallons per day. And the, Burlington's paying Lexington $7,900 instead of $300,000 a year. And again, is charging them 1% wheeling fee. That's really a nice agreement for Burlington. Now we have, this is, where's the other one here? That's, we have Ashland and Southborough. And Southborough is selling water to Ashland. Now, according to the payment schedule, Ashland viewed that construction on their side would cost about $1.8 million to enable the connection and the proper flowage percentage and design of such a setup. And what we have is somewhere here, where is it? It's right at the end, maybe. Ashland is paying Southborough. This is more of a flowage thing. They do it on a rate basis of how much water they're using. And it's a 25-year agreement. And, what the hell is it, where's the, somewhere here I got the rate. If I could get the pages turned.
It just his own mark rates.
Ashland shall recover 70% of the capital costs. So I guess when say Ashland depending on when and if Ashland cancel the agreement, they'll get some of their capital back, but apparently they must be paying the 1.8 for the design and the system. And the rate, I had that here somewhere, I marked it, but I can't see it now. They're paying for the wheeling. Do you have it, Scott? What was,
Not this section.
they say, so in other words,
I don't see.
if Ashland stays in, they pay the full amount. If they only stay in for a number of years, they get a percentage, 75% or 50% of their capital payment back. But if they stay in the program, they pay the 1.8 million. And there is some kind of a discussion of the rates for the water, depending on the volume, there's a flowage charge. But I'll be doggone if I can find it now. Steve, do you find that somewhere in there?
Page 10 starts the rates and billing, and it has O&M, spreading out the O&M costs.
Yeah. But I didn't see, when I read it before, there was some section that talked about how the volume, they would be charged a certain amount if they used 1 MGD or whatever.
On page 11, there's a maximum allocated capacity.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
Supposed to be an attached fee schedule per gallon at the time of usage. That's on page 2, at the very top.
Yeah. But maybe we didn't get that.
Exhibit 2, yeah, it's not there with the agreement.
I don't see the attached schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, they're distributing the 1.8 depending on how long. If they stayed in for a long period, over, I guess, 7 years, it would have cost them 1.8 million. Lexington, it was ongoing at $8,000, rounded off, $8,000 a year. They could do that for 100 years, they'd only get 8 million. So we're facing a very high fee with Norwood, I guess, unless somebody, these are the ones we came up with, Steve, right?
I think if you pay attention to the Lexington agreement on section C, other charges,
Yeah.
if you read into it, you're kind of buying into their capital plan.
Is that Burlington and Lexington or Bedford?
Both of them, on the payments, section C, other charges, it's talking about future, being part of the capital plan, upgrading, percentage of paying for costs, so, for instance, if there's a $2 million pipe repair, you're on the hook for $1 million of it. I think that's how they kind of,
Burlington, so or
Okay. Well, so this is information. I guess we have to deal with our executives in the town and find out what they think. We've asked Mr. Johnson to negotiate more with Norwood, trying to get a better deal. And I guess we can continue our exploration.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Pradeep's idea of bringing it down from Top Golf seems to have a lot of merit in light of some of these agreements.
The other thing, which is that Route 1 corridor is all commercial and industrial customers. Getting a water pipe there will be better for future commercial
Right, for
uses.
expansion too.
Expansion too. Most, yeah.
Had you heard anything from
No,
them about that?
No, the last meeting, what we heard is that the Route 1 option was coming from Route 1 to the Milot Street, which defeats the purpose of all the, commercial users in Route 1, including the biggest, like Siemens and Walmart and etc. So that's basically if you're getting a pipe from anywhere from the 95 or University Avenue It should be for the Route 1 corridor. That should be the most smallest, shortest path.
Yeah, but I think you're missing there, I think Mattson communicated that it's really difficult to have a project going through all these towns, particularly Route 1. None of us have any idea how many frigging permits, studies, investigations, consultants, disagreements. It's like herding cats. It's a thing that can never be done, particularly with the companies involved. You may have 35 entities involved, maybe 50, and in 6 towns or 5 towns. I mean, it's insane. It sounds linear, but really the practicality of doing something like that, where your idea, and we don't have anybody that wants to investigate it, and I guess your idea is golden because you have 2 things. The state of Massachusetts has a complete corridor on Route 95 with huge utility easements on either side of the road. When you say easements, it's their property to lay a utility line. You're only dealing with one entity. MWRA has the water going to Stoughton, to a defunct line Stoughton's not using, in the 95 corridor.
Yeah.
We can hook right there, make a deal with Stoughton, to hook into their pipe that they're not using, and come right down 95 to Siemens, straight line. No, on state property, on DOT, Commonwealth of Massachusetts property, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, with our senator and our reps, should go into the state and say, listen, you had us and the congressman come to the town of Walpole town meeting and bully them and force them to give $20 million tax TIF to Siemens so the state could locate Siemens on Route 95. And we did it. And they give us nothing for it. We got 0, we got nothing. So they owe us. And the least they could do was give us that easement and let us put that pipeline right down to Siemens, right into Walpole. No Norwood, no nobody, no 300,000, 500,000 a year. Straight line. I don't know why nobody wants to study this and go do it. I know it's a political thing, but it's to me, it's so obvious what Pradeep proposed. It's so clean.
You know, here's another thing. We haven't looked at all the alternatives. You could put the water line right in the easement for our interceptor. The sewer interceptor goes from here right down to
Quincy.
the,
Quincy?
huh?
To Quincy.
To
Yeah,
Quincy, yeah.
So there's plenty of places to hook up a line on the way there. So, and that's like being in the corridor. It's with the,
Yeah, I know exactly where. Canton has a park along 95
yeah,
in Canton. The interceptor runs there, all the way from like Neponset Street, all the way up, right across the Stoughton water line.
yeah. So
And the
why-
MWRA controls that easement.
Yeah, so there's another one that we haven't even thought about.
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't
already-
know, our consultant, these people, I don't know, I don't understand how they find it difficult.
Why doesn't the MWRA put it in and sell it to Walpole, Sharon, or anybody else down the 95 corridor?
Well, we haven't asked them, but they have other suitors.
Okay, they could get more.
They don't want too many. It's a finite window we're dealing with. Yeah, we'll be lucky if we get 1 million gallons a day. Anyway, so if, I'll try to compete with Mr. Johnson. I put in 2 calls from this week and I didn't really hear back. So I'd like to see anything we can do to facilitate his negotiation with Norwood so we have something for the commissioners on the table. I'd be very supportive of that, because I think timing is everything, Patrick.
Yes, it is.
And there are, the Western, as they say, the Weymouth group could take the whole thing, the whole allotment, the West Suburban group could take the whole allotment, and the North Suburban group could take the whole allotment. So if we don't get our ore in the water quick, we're chasing something and it's not gonna be available. So anyway, we're working on this. and we'll proceed. Okay, what else do I have here now? Let's see, I'm still trying to find my,
You get Jarvis Farm.
let me see, you put your agenda down so I can see what we got here. All right, we have two things, we have the cash,
Jarvis
meter
Farm.
cash and Jarvis Farm. Jarvis
Okay,
Farm?
Jarvis Farm. Yeah. To the superintendent, what is going on at Jarvis Farm? Do we have a parking lot yet?
No parking lot yet.
No parking lot. You know, I looked at my records, it's been 10 years since I advocated putting a parking lot that would protect the aquifer. You can't have cars parked there for any kind of
Right now, there's a chance you could,
festivities
right now, there's a chance you could have a well there. It's being looked at as a well site.
in the middle of the parking lot.
Wherever there's water,
No,
yeah, where the parking lot is.
in the parking lot,
That's-
okay, so okay, you people, where would you put the parking lot?
There would be a parking lot. If you have a well, there's gonna be nothing there.
No, I know.
There's
It'd be
27
someplace
acres.
else.
Patrick, don't argue it. It is so weird for a town to have 27 virgin acres essentially as a potential well site. That's like almost unheard of. I mean, so that is, if that's golden, if they find that opportunity, don't talk about a parking lot. There's no need for a parking lot. We got
Well,
the golden
Then you can't
goose.
use the park.
Well, that's why we're not having, he's not getting married there next week.
No. I'm just here because there were two different things. I wanted to find out whether or not there was gonna be a parking lot on Jarvis Farm or not, and then just said, well, I just happened to hear about the wedding.
Now, how-
And I wanted to find out about the 95 corridor, if that was gonna be a 20-inch water main going down 95 for 2.5 miles, is that gonna be any cheaper than just saying the Huntington Town Road? Sorry, we gotta pay you the money, but I just wanted
How-
to.
We have high-priced consultants that are supposed to analyze that for the towns.
I'm interested in how did they find out all of a sudden there's gonna be a well that should be placed in the middle of the parking lot?
It's not all of a sudden. It's
Oh,
one of the
how come
options
you never
because
told anybody?
we have an article for finding supplemental
What?
source. We have an article to find a appropriation to having a supplemental water source.
Did you have somebody out there with a
Whether
divining
that's-
rod looking
No.
around?
That's,
Whether that's MWRA connection or a new well,
see, he does.
I
Okay.
know.
No, there are more excuses to not, look it, you need people in Jarvis Farm because they protect the place. If you close it off and leave it, God knows what goes on in there. So you have to have the public in the park. But you don't have to have their cars in the park. Now, it's hard for people to get there. So you need to find some place to put their cars. There's no place in Jarvis Farm where we can put their cars, so they can come and visit.
Mr. Dalton, you want to say something
Yeah,
briefly?
Just wanted to say, that there is just as many cars parked over by Minebrook 1 and over by the entrance to Minebrook 5, over at Johnson Middle School, than there would be parked at any one given time, probably over at Jarvis Farm.
That shouldn't be.
There's a ton of cars. You should see the softball parking there at Minebrook 1. I mean, everybody's right there. I mean, they're not just in the parking lots, they're parked wherever they can fit them.
Yeah, and you know cars leak everything.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And it's continuous, and it builds up and builds up and builds up. And again, we're at the situation where we want people to be in the park.
I think there's plenty of dog walkers, and I think it'd be a fantastic spot for a Washington 7.
Yeah, bring your dog even,
There's plenty of people in the neighborhood.
That's a fine thing.
One
People
side
say-
drive's got many police officers.
but it's natural stuff that should be in there, not chemicals from cars.
Exactly, well,
There-
but they're all over, they're at your other wells.
And I'm glad you told me about that, what you just said,
Oh, they are, you should
Yeah.
go down, drive down to.
I'll have to
the
talk to
side
you.
of Johnson Middle School, both sides.
about that. And that's just disquieting.
Okay. All right, so we have meters to cash report?
Yeah, I think I received this input. So the cycle 10, 11, 12, and 13 are being mailed out tomorrow.
yes.
And that's uses from May 11th to August 11th.
Correct.
So that's the last of the fiscal year 2023.
Yeah, I believe that's entirety's been built out already.
So there'll be,
Because this is from May 11th to August, so May and June will be your last fiscal year.
so
And then July and August will be this year.
Okay. So nothing is pending for fiscal year, last fiscal year, isn't it?
No.
Tomorrow, after tomorrow, basically.
Okay, so you'll have solid figures then, in case you want to talk at town meeting.
So, yeah, no, 6:15, there's a partial 6:15 to 9:15, 15 days, which is going out on 10:15. So the last one.
10:15?
Yeah, so the 6:15, 15 days are still not being billed.
Okay.
So that's a concern we have to raise, like, you know, whenever we talk about the financial number.
No, exactly, no,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
That's it,
Okay,
yeah.
I think that's it, unless there's anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, move to adjourn.
I second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
300.